All right. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the 30 Days of Cloud Orientation Meet. Uh, we'll have a brief intro about cloud computing first. Then we'll have a tour of Quick Labs, and then we can get ahead and start off with 30 days of cloud. So first I'll give a brief intro about cloud. So as the definition goes, we all know that, the definition says that cloud computing is the on-demand availability of computer system resources, especially data storage and computing power, without direct active management by the user. So in simple terms, what we are trying to say is that under cloud computing, it's like using someone else's computer to do your job, where that someone manages the infrastructure, data storage, and maintenances, etc. Those someones are called cloud service providers. So, what are the benefits of cloud? Like, why do we, what are benefits do we gain from cloud? So, there are n number of benefits. First of all, it is easily upgradable. It's all productivity anywhere. Like, you can access your data from any point of the world. You just need internet access. Then it's great for offsite data storage. If you have an organization where you have lots of data, like a huge amount of data to store, you don't have to use your own infrastructure. You can use the cloud. Then again, maintenance cost is all taken care by the cloud service providers. Then say we have disaster assistance, like say your server is down. If one of the servers is down, then there's always a backup where your data is safe in another server. It's always up. The backup time is very less. So it's always ready to use. So why do we, okay, so even if we don't know about it, we are like literally surrounded by cloud. Like, for example, banking, emails, media streaming, e-commerce, and basically all the applications that you'll find on your phone are all managed through cloud. Even WhatsApp, for that matter, it is managed by the IBM cloud. Next, we have different types of clouds. Under different types of clouds, there is something called public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid clouds. So public clouds, under public clouds is basically the cloud infrastructure is available to the public and is provided by the cloud service provider over the internet. It can be accessed over by multiple customers and is publicly shared. Next, we have private cloud. Under private cloud, the cloud infrastructure is exclusively managed by a single organization, where all their data is limited to themselves, and it is very good in case of security purposes. And next, we have hybrid clouds, which fuses the concepts of both private cloud and public cloud. It's the combination of both where there is flexibility in providing computing, storage, and services environment. Okay, so under these services, we have four types of services when it comes to that. One is on-site, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. On-site is when all of our everything from infrastructure till application, everything is managed by your company. Is like you are managing everything. You get the hardware, software, and you manage it, your company. Next, under IaaS, which when abbreviated gives infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service is when the service providers will provide you with the infrastructure and the rest applications, data, runtime, hardware, and operating systems are managed by you. Next, we have PaaS, which is platform as a service. Under that, your applications and data is managed by you, but the rest, like hardware and the infrastructure and platform, is provided by the service providers. And in the end, we have SaaS, which is software as a service, where everything from applications till networking is managed by the cloud service providers. So these under cloud service providers, we have different companies like AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, that are the leading cloud service providers. Uh, AWS has a lot of is found in multiple locations, and Google Cloud is very good in cost, like is least in the cost matter. Yes. Okay, so that was about cloud. And now we will talk about our 30 days of cloud computing program. So it has started from 27th of October, September, and will end till on 28th of October. We have this month dedicated just for cloud computing, where you'll get access to quick labs and you can try out for yourself uh, all these cloud features, like creating virtual machines and n number of exciting labs to try out. Through this, you will learn a lot about cloud computing, as well as in the end, you will get very exciting uh, swags and skill badges, which will enhance your resume for sure. So, moving on to Vishruth, who will show you a quick tour of the lab.
Yeah. Thank you, Shreya. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. So, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, great. So, have you all? Okay. So, the first question: have you all started with the quick labs, or have you all tried what quick labs is? Just a yes or no. You can also post in the chat.
Yes.
Great, Vivek. Anyone else? Okay, I got a yes from Mitali. Cool. So we have two people who have started with quick labs. So I will share my screen now. Do you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So once you log into a quick labs account, you must have started with the you must have seen all the different program or the program syllabus that they have. The first quest is create and manage cloud resources. This is one of the fundamental quest that we have. In that we have 4 to 5 labs. Each lab each lab will give you an idea of, or it will introduce you to a new concept. So there is a difference between a skill and a badge. So this is a skill: create and manage cloud resources. In the end of a skill, you will have a challenge lab. So once you complete this challenge lab, you will be awarded the skill. So let us move on to the first lab, which is a tour of quick labs and Google Cloud. Once you open that, you will get an overview of what the lab is about. I highly recommend you all to make notes of all the new concepts of the or the new words that you learn when you are reading the overview of the lab. This is basically a kind of theory of the hands-on session that you will be doing later on. So as in this case, this tells us what you will learn. In this, we are going to learn about the Quick Labs platform and identify the key features in a lab environment. Learn about Quick Labs credits and how to launch an instance of a lab. Learn about how to access Cloud Console with specific credentials. Learn how to learn about what are Google projects and how to identify common misconceptions. We will also learn about some Google, how to navigate around Google Cloud. We will also learn about some basic or the primitive roles of accessing a Google Cloud. Apart from that, we will learn a bit about Cloud Shell as well as the API library. Okay. So let us start with the lab. So this is let me give you a brief overview of the lab. So in the lab, this is a fundamental lab. So this is a compulsory lab that you need to do. So this lab currently tells about what a start button is, what a credit is, what a time is. So time for a lab is specified by Google. For each lab, there will be a different time. So for this lab, the time given to us is 45 minutes. So each lab will vary depending upon the complexity of the lab. The easier labs will have less time, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but the more complex ones will have time like one and a half hour, 2 hours. So this is the start lab button. So if you click the start lab and you verify the captcha, you will be given a username, password, and a Google project ID. This username password is the user ID password that you will be using for running a Google Cloud console or an instance of Google Cloud. And the score. Each lab has a score. So we will just try this out later on. And you obviously have to read and follow the instructions given in the lab so that you can learn about new concepts as well as learn how to implement them or the correct way to implement them. So these are some of the questions that they ask in between. Like some of the labs have tracking which scores the completion of your hands-on lab. The answer is true. So let us start the lab. Whenever you click on open cloud Google console, it will always enter the user ID directly for you. You just have to copy paste the password. So whenever you open Quick Labs for the first time, you will be always greeted with this screen. Now, what is this screen? It looks quite cluttered, but it has a specific reason. For let us come to this one. What is this? This is a project info tab. So in this you will see what is the project name, what is the project ID, and the project number. So now since this is just one lab, you will see only one project info, only one project name, project ID, and number. But when you are actually implementing it in a company or a startup, you will have multiple projects that are running simultaneously. So it is necessary for you to know what are the different projects that you are running on this on one account. Resources. Coming to resources, this contains all the resources that you are currently using. So for instance, you might be using uh, virtual machines, you might be using Kubernetes clusters, you might be using BigQuery warehouses. So all these will be shown here. What are the current resources that you're using and for how much time they are running, and what are the other data critical nodes that they are using. Trace. So trace will contain all the activities that you have done in past. So it will contain what all virtual machines that you have created, what all virtual machines you have terminated, what are the different queries that you have run on BigQuery, what are the different clusters that you have created. Coming to the APIs. Now everything runs on APIs. You have API for everything. So even on cloud, there are multiple APIs that we use. So once you start using a API, it will be shown in the in a form of a graph here. Now API uses something called as requests and methods. So whenever you send a request to a API, it will it will be shown here. Now this shows the status of the Google Cloud platform. So if there is any issue, it will be shown here. This is the monitoring. So you can set up the monitoring for any kind of application here. If you want to see how many people are coming on my website or what is the traffic that is generated on the website, I can see in this tab. You can create a different monitoring tab that in on which you can see the data. Error reporting. So when you're using APIs, there might be some instances or cases where you might not be getting the optimal input or the output. That time, if there is any kind of error, it will be shown in the error reporting. So when you are setting up logs, you will be setting up error reporting as well. So you will learn how to set up an error report, how an error report is generated, or how a log is generated. So if there is later on, you will learn if there is any problem with the website, it will automatically send you an email notifying that there is error, so that you can immediately rectify the error. This news shows if there is some addition done to the Google Cloud platform or not, if there is any updates or upgrades to any kind of services. So this is what a dashboard of a Google Cloud looks like. This can you all see my cursor though, Shreya?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. So this part of the Google Cloud is called as a navigation bar. On the navigation bar, you will see all the different main services that the Google Cloud is currently providing us. So you will see marketplace where you can install various APIs. You can see the billings. In billings, you will see all the different resources that you're using and what and how much they are being built, build. Sorry. In the APIs and services, you will see all the APIs that you're currently using and what are the different and how much they are being hit. When I say hit, I mean the requests that the API is getting per second. Support, you can contact the Google support using the support tab. In IAM and admin, you can set different roles that each and every user can have. So when you in a cloud, it is not that only one person uses the cloud. A cloud is used by a whole company. So if we are in a startup, all the employees in the startup will have an account on their cloud. Now they might not be developing it, but some of the employees will be using it for billing. Some of them will be using it for creating resources. Some of them will be using for data analytics as well as AI. So then you can set various different roles. Like, do you want them to access only the analytics section? Do you want them to access only the support section, or do you want them only to access AI section, or do you want to create an admin role who has access to all the services? And coming to compute, in compute you can create virtual machines. In Kubernetes engine you can create clusters. In VMware you can create VMware machines, and so on and so forth. Using cloud storage you can store the data on the cloud. So these are all the main services that they have on cloud. So now we have to do what the lab has told us. Now since we have started with 45 minutes, now we have only 38 minutes left to complete the lab. So this, since this is a basic lab, they have not told anything for us to specifically do. So the first task is to sign into Google, now which we have done already. Second task is to see what is the project info is, to see all the projects, navigation menu, roles and permissions, APIs and services. What is a Cloud Shell? Yes. So Cloud Shell is a terminal access that you get for the cloud. It takes a bit time to run the Cloud Shell. It is so if you all have seen what a CMD in Windows or terminal in Linux looks like, it is the same, but it will be for your cloud project. So using this, you can perform all the operations and applications that you can perform through console. So all the all the services that Google has can be done in two ways: either through Google Cloud Shell by typing in the code, or by using Google Cloud Console. Using Google Cloud Console, you don't need to know how to code it, but you should understand the concept. So if you know the concept, it is very much easier to do it without the code as well. Okay, it's taking the time. What is the next thing? Has it opened? No. And after you have completed the lab, you can always end the lab, and you will be asked to give a rating for the lab. So if you find the lab interesting enough, you have learned something new, you can always give it high rating. Why is it not starting? Okay, so this is what a cloud shell looks like. Here you can do all the operations. Now they have told to create a file called touch.text, sorry, text.txt. So there are various editors in the cloud itself. So touch is one of them. Instead of touch, if you want, you can use Vim, or you can also use Nano. So using touch, we are creating a file. So we have created a file. Let us see if the file is created. You can see the file being created here, readme.txt and test.txt. Now we will enter some data in test.txt. So what is the command for that? The command to enter the data or edit the file is using nano test.txt. To enter the data, let us say hello world. To save the file, we press Ctrl X and it gives a pop-up saying, do you want to save the modified buffer? We say yes, and then we say Ctrl C. And we want to see what we have done. So we will be using the command cat. So once we say cat test.txt, it will give us the contents of the file. Like in this case, we have entered hello world. So this is the basic tour of Quick Labs. Any questions or okay? So we will go on with ending the lab. So once you end the lab, it will ask you for a confirmation if you want to submit or not. Then we like the lab, so we say it is we give it a good rating. And that is how you go around with Quick Labs and Google Cloud. After you complete the lab, it will give you a tick mark here. Once you complete all the labs, including the challenge lab, you will get the skill. That skill you can put it on your LinkedIn accounts, or you can upload it on the social handles. So it will give you a more visibility on the professional networks. And I highly recommend you all to make notes whenever you are learning a new concept or learning new words, so as to not forget them, and so that you will basically keep them around, or you will be exploring them in a lot better ways or in depth later on, right? So that was the tour of Quick Labs that I had.
All right. So now you all are like free to try out all these quick labs. And start your journey in cloud. Uh, so through our 30 days of cloud program, you all can, if at any time, if you all have any doubts, you all can ask us, just ping us on our Discord channel. I'll just show it.
By the way, before we and forget, there is a Discord group that we have. If you have any questions or queries, you can always post it on the Discord group. We are always here to solve any queries that you have.
Yes, we have made a special category over here where you can post your doubts. Just feel free to ask any doubt, and we'll be ready to help you all out. That's
Also, also all the doubts will be encouraged and entertained only on the Discord channel. Please don't ping the facilitators privately on WhatsApp. They won't be looked into at all. So please do this only on the Discord channel.
Shreya, can you post the link of Discord on the chat if possible?
yes. One second.
Apart from 30 days of cloud, we have a lot of interesting things coming up once the 30 days of cloud is over. So be around, stick around, so you'll get to learn more things. We'll get to learn more new concepts and new technologies.
Yes, so I've put up the link. You can join in immediately. Any doubts?
So people who have started the labs, Vivek and Mitali, do you all have any questions or doubts that you all would like to ask? Or do you have any feedback about the Google Cloud? It was a good experience. Okay, great.
Any other doubts? Like any basic question anyone wants to ask?
You're always welcome, Sriyash. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more further doubts, then I think we can wrap it up for today. And yes, that would be it. Thank you for joining in. Vishud, there's a doubt in the chat section.
Hello? Yeah. Is there doubt? Okay. If the timer ends before we complete the lab, do we have to restart? Yes. Yes, you do have to restart the lab, because the reason for the timer is there because it is an instance that is created temporarily. So if the instance that instance has a timing, and if the instance has run out of the time, then it will always end from the back end. So even if you do the complete the lab, it will be of no use. You will have to restart the lab again. And the labs can be completed very quickly, so also don't rush into the labs. Solve them nicely, आराम से solve करो उसको, and take notes. That's the main point I would like to highlight you all, because there are a lot of new concepts that you will learn. What are different IAM roles? What are different instances? How do you create a virtual machine? And if you know how to do these things on Google Cloud, it will be very easier even if you all do this later on Amazon, AWS, or Azure. The concepts will be the same. The UI and the process to do the things will be different. The concepts are not different for each of the cloud. Concepts are exactly the same. Any more doubts? Yeah, I think Shreya, that was
Then
it,
yeah,
right?
we can end the meeting now.
Yeah, we can end the meeting. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you everyone for joining in. It was great to have you all.
Yeah.